Today, there will be
Special edition of WeatherScope. Comprehensive severe weather coverage from the Weather Channel Forecast Center.
And a good Saturday morning to you. I'm Cheryl Lemke reporting live from the Weather Channel Forecast Center as we continue to monitor the situation regarding Bertha. Bertha was downgraded to a tropical storm early this morning, and there it still stands as a tropical storm. However, it's still packing quite a punch. And within the last hour or so, we've had a report from Ocean City, Maryland, of wind gusts over 60 miles an hour. So still a very powerful system at this particular point, producing some gusty winds and squally conditions and locally heavy amounts of rain. Let's check out the latest particulars that we have regarding Tropical Storm Bertha. Again, it is a tropical storm, right now packing winds of 50 miles an hour, roughly centered 45 miles south of Dover, Delaware, and it continues to move rapidly towards the deep convection, especially to the north and the east side of the center of circulation. Right now, the tropical storm situated right about here or so, so you can still see some very good convection. The brighter shades of blue and orange indicating the higher and the colder cloud tops, and that goes hand in hand where the heavier rains are occurring. So a big surge of heavy moisture and some heavier rains sweeping across the northeast today, and that spells bad news. A lot of folks on summer vacation, and we're going to see a very wet pattern today through the mid-Atlantic and the northeast, and unfortunately a lot of big cities being impacted by the heavy rains, including Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, likewise New York City and Boston. Well, right now some heavy rains are occurring around New Jersey, and up in New Jersey we have our very own Rick Griffin reporting live from Highlands, New Jersey. Rick, what's the latest weather information right now?
Well, Cheryl, it's changed a bit since I last talked to you. We are in the midst of one of those tropical rain squalls I've been describing all morning, and it's a mixture of pelting rain and sand that stings. I mean, there's a lot of sand airborne right across the beach here, and it's kind of caked on my pants right here. There's a lot of sand airborne across the beach. The wind, again, strong, probably 35 to 40 miles per hour sustained, and occasionally gusting higher than that. But watching the wind direction this morning, and it doesn't appear to be shifting at all, so that may give some sort of indication that eventually later on today the center, which I guess you mentioned was south of Dover, is going to come right up about over this area, the Jersey Shore.
We have had reports of some stiff winds in your general area, just down the road a piece around Harvey Cedars and around Seaside Park. We've had some wind gusts over 55 miles an hour, so some strong winds raking your area right now. Any conditions as far as beach erosion or coastal flooding, anything like that taking place in your area?
Well, a little while ago, as I mentioned, I talked to a Highlands police officer, and in addition to describing the storm of December '92, he mentioned that down around Seabright, just a little south of here, that the strip, as they call it, was still open. And he says normally they would close that area if the water got too high. So at the moment, it doesn't appear that it's a real big problem. Now looking at the surf over here, it would appear that the water is piling up a little bit farther onto the beach, but that you combine that with the tide, which is going out right now, and I think they're kind of equalizing each other out. But there's no doubt that the surf is getting rougher, the waves are getting higher, and we're going to be watching that for you. By the way, the high tide, again, is not until about 8 p.m. this evening. Hopefully by then the winds will have shifted onto the west as Bertha goes on by.
All right, thanks a lot. Again, that was Rick Griffin reporting live from Highlands, New Jersey, and we'll be checking back with him probably within the next half an hour or so. Now, he was talking about some of the rough conditions along coastal areas of New Jersey, but we're still seeing some problems in North Carolina where the hurricane essentially went on shore yesterday. Just a report that came in, the barrier islands in North Carolina remain closed, especially around Wilmington and Topsail Beach. That's where some of the most significant damage occurred. But as far as we know, the reports coming in from South Carolina, the beaches are open for business, so If you're vacationing down in South Carolina, it looks pretty good right now, but again, rough conditions still across the North Carolina beaches, at least for the rest of today. Now, speaking of North Carolina, again, the hurricane came on shore yesterday, really lashing out and really wreaking havoc in North Carolina. We have some pictures now to show you of that, especially around Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Bertha brought heavy rain and strong winds to Elizabeth City. The town was inundated by floodwaters. As much as 5 inches of rain fell in the vicinity. Some residents say the water was up to 3 feet deep. In addition, winds gusting up to 50 miles an hour knocked down trees and power lines and caused some minor damage to some buildings. So we have seen all sorts of problems across the Carolinas. Luckily, though, Bertha continues to weaken as it continues to ride up the eastern seaboard, but it's still causing some problems. So let's check our radar rainfall estimate. What you're looking at here is Virginia up here. This is North Carolina down here. And again, look at all the heavy rains, especially along coastal sections. According to our legends, some locales have had around 7 to 8 inches worth of rain. And again, the vast majority of that is because of Hurricane Bertha, so some excessive rains. And it's little wonder that there's going to be some flash flooding taking place with this particular tropical storm. As the heavy rains shift northward across the mid-Atlantic and New England, numerous flash flood watches have some impressive bands of rain. The center again of Bertha right about here or so. We're seeing all that moisture being channeled in from off the Atlantic, spiral bands of showers and storms. The heavy rain right now for Philly. Also a rough go this morning around New York City, around the Long Island Expressway. The heavy rains working their way over towards Boston, so a real slow day today. Heavier showers and thunderstorms continuing across the Northeast, but gradually we think the rain should be subsiding somewhat by tomorrow. Well, stay with us. We'll be back with more information regarding Bertha, and we'll also check out your local weather too coming up.